everyone, so this video I'm actually kind of excited to film. So I really love to read, obviously, and I really love to watch movies, and I love to watch books that are turned into movies. Those are always fun. I'm not a super huge critic and I don't pick on every single detail, so I find watching book to movie adaptations a little bit more fun than some people. So I thought it would be kind of a fun video to do and discuss movies that I feel are actually better than the book. What? I cannot believe you would say that. But yeah, I feel like there's some movies, not a lot, definitely, that are actually kind of better than the book, at least in my opinion. So I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about those. So I have a list here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books, movies, things that I thought of and thought would be fun. So the first one that I'm going to discuss is I Am Legend. I'm pretty sure everybody has at least seen the movie, and a few years ago I found the book and I was like, hey, if the books are better than the movie was pretty awesome. I bet this book is gonna be amazing. So I actually read the book after I watched the movie, and I was like, I finished it and I was like, what did I just read? I thought it was so confusing. I read the entire book, I actually did, and I finished it and I was like, huh, this isn't really anything like the movie. I kind of really like the movie better. In the book, I don't think that the woman and her son that end up in the movie at the end, and you know, Will, spoiler alert, he dies at the end of the movie, and then he gives her the like the antidote for the zombie-ness, and she takes it and it's like hope for life. And I don't even think that character even exists in the book, and I think the book ends kind of like morbidly. Yeah, I just felt like they really did a good job with the movie, and Will Smith was amazing, and then with the dog, and then just but yeah, that was the first one that I thought the movie was better than the book. The second one that I want to talk about is If I Stay. So this one was kind of like a close call for me. If I Stay is a duology. It's a book duology, and if you have, you know, or have not read it or heard about it, it's about a girl and she like gets into a car crash and her entire family dies, and the first book is basically her like in a state of like, it's like flashbacks and like her in a state of being out of her body while she's like in a coma, and her basically deciding whether she wants to live or die. And it's really interesting because the book and the movie are very similar, but the book didn't pull at the heartstrings as much as the movie did. The movie, they added a few things that I just thought were so lovely. And so in the movie, they exchanged these bracelets, and one of them is a guitar and the other one is the bass. That's the instrument that she plays, right? And I feel like I'm forgetting the name of this instrument, the Giant Violin. But yeah, and then so there's a part in the book where she has to perform, and so what he does is he puts a picture of like what the theater looks like, and he puts it on her ceiling, and he's like, oh, so you can practice as if you're really there. And that wasn't in the book, and I just thought that was the sweetest thing, and I absolutely loved that. And I just really liked how they did everything visually in the movie, and I really felt the relationship in the movie more so than I did in the book, which is really surprising to me. Needless to say, I loved Where She Went, which is the second book in the duology. Oh, I loved that book so much, way more than the first one. That one like definitely made me cry and was like just so good. The writing was incredible. I have the author's other two books, the other duology, the one where the girl's in Paris. But yeah, I really loved the If I Stay movie more than the book, if by just like a small margin. All right, the next one that I want to talk about is Percy Jackson. I'm just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. I just wanted to say that to scare you guys. I know how much that movie is hated, and I know how much the author even hates that movie, so I'm just playing. Okay, so the next one, Gone Girl. So this one, I read the book, and it's like honestly one of my favorites because it's insane, and the movie was amazing. Like, it really captured the craziness that is the people in this book. And I'm talking about Gone Girl because I don't necessarily think the movie was better, despite what this entire video is about. But I thought it was like an amazing adaptation of the book. They didn't leave anything out. They kept like, well, no, they did leave stuff out, but they kept all the big stuff in, and they really showed, you know, Amy's crazy and Nick's like also crazy betrayal, this. And the book, I felt, showed Amy's like crazy a little bit more, because in the book they talk about how she had that like restraining order or something, I forget, with the one friend, and it just showed more of like her manipulation, and especially, spoiler alert for like the last page of the book, because the book is told in like a dual point of view, and so in the book the last page is in her point of view, and she ends it with like something about how I always have to have the last word or something. And I remember I was so frustrated finishing that book, because yes, Nick was, you know, basically took everything from her. He like picked her out of her life and dropped her into something that she didn't want to be, and he cheated on her and everything. To be completely honest, I don't think he deserved everything that she put him through in this story. Like, she completely destroyed him. And so in the book, after she, you know, manipulates the heck out of him, out of the media, out of the public, and so in that last page when she basically says that like she's gonna get her way, or she always has to have the last word or something, I was so frustrated. I was like almost in tears. I'm like, no, that is not how this ends. There needs to be a sequel, and he needs to get back at her, because no, that book honestly like blew my mind. Like, I'm not even joking. Okay, so let me know what you think about that one. The next one I want to talk about also is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. The reason I say that the movie is better than the book is because of the fact that they changed the ending. This is also a spoiler alert. My video is just full of spoilers if I talk about like anything, so just beware. But I read the book when I was in middle school, I want to say, and so at the end of the book, if you've heard of this book, I'm sure you have, there's like the main character's sister, she has cancer, and so the sister was basically born to provide, you know, anything that the sister needed. And so the sister needed, I think it was her liver or something, I'm not sure, and so she told her well sister, you know, I don't want you to give me anything else. Like, I'm ready to just go. I need you to sue mom and dad for the rights to your own body, and, you know, live your life, and I'm ready to go. So at the end of the book, after everything, the sisters, they get into an accident or something, and so the sister that was born to provide for the other sister, she ends up dying, and so they give the sister with cancer the organ that she needed, and she ends up living. She ends up going into remission because of this. So like, it was mind-blowing at the end of the book, because everything just changes. You think it's gonna end sad like it was, and then it just changes, which was crazy. I finished reading that and I was like, but in the book they do the complete opposite. She tells her sister, I need you to sue. The sister ends up winning the lawsuit, and the sister with cancer, she ends up dying. And I really liked it because it was reality and it was real, and it wasn't like some crazy miracle. And so they finished it off after the sister had passed, and they're like, yeah, that, you know, she's gone, nothing crazy happened, no miracles, you know, cancer wasn't defeated or cured, and, you know, life went on, and without their sister. The fact that it wasn't necessarily a happy ending, not like the book was, because one of the sisters still ended up dying, but the fact that it was real, and the fact that this still happens to families, I enjoyed that, because it didn't give false hope, I felt like, to people watching. And so that's why I really enjoyed the movie slightly more than the book, because it's basically a perfect adaptation. Or I don't remember, I haven't read the book in years. I really appreciated that and respected that they decided to do that, and so that's why I think that the movie is slightly better than the book, because of the ending change. Okay, so the last one that I want to talk about real quick, I might get some debate on this, but Mockingjay, the third book in the Hunger Games trilogy. This is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I read these books so fast. I remember I was like a sophomore in high school when I read all of them, or the first one, and I felt so naughty because I stayed up until like 1 o'clock in the morning finishing one of the books, and so I thought I was bad because I stayed up reading my book. So you know how in Mockingjay and in all the books in general, they kind of show more of the story besides Katniss's point of view, because this is like a revolution story, so there's more than one story besides just Katniss's. And in the movie they showed, you know, scenes with just Snow. They showed scenes, basically just scenes without Katniss. And so there's a part, if you remember, at the end of the book where it's after the chaos, when Katniss shoots coin, and then snow gets like trampled on, and they take her and they put her in a room, and she's just locked in there, and then she comes out and they're like, oh, this is the new leader, this happened, this and in the book they put her in a room, but then they show kind of what happened outside of that room, outside of Katniss's perspective, and they show it, and they show the new change in leadership, and they show you know, the people rebuilding a little bit, and they show more than just Katniss being in this room as she's like trying to reconcile with what has just happened to her, what just happened with her sister, what happened with everything. So I really like that they showed more to it, and I really appreciated that in all of them, and I loved it. I felt like the books would have definitely been stronger if that was done with different perspectives. And also another thing that I thought of, I remember reading the book, and if you remember the part where Peeta comes back after he has been hijacked, and so he's been hijacked, right, and they've been torturing him, and they've been like putting in his mind that Katniss is evil, Katniss is the enemy, Katniss is bad, like don't trust Katniss. And so Katniss goes to talk to him, and he like is very angry and hateful towards her, and he attacks her, and she becomes very angry and she becomes very defensive. And I remember reading that and being like, dude, he's been hijacked. Like, how can you be mad at him? He has been tortured. Like, you need to be the one person. He's the one person that he loves in the most. You cannot be like that towards him. You can't get defensive and like be mean towards him, which is how I felt she was in the scene in the book. But in the movie, when he talks badly towards her, and when he grabs her and hurts her and like really hurts her, she, you know, becomes very sad, and then when she wakes up, she's like looking for Peeta, and I really felt that that was more like in tune with the relationship. And so that was another thing that I really liked that they did in the movie rather than the book. And I'm sure that there's others, but I haven't read the book in so long. But those were two things that I really like that they changed in the movie, and that made it stronger, and that made the story stronger. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about that because I really love books, obviously, and I really love movies, and I really love book to movie adaptations, and I always love not being nitpicky, but just seeing the differences and seeing what worked more in a book or a movie. And I always find it really fascinating, so I thought it would be a fun video to do. These were just my picks, the movies that I thought were better than the books, if just by a tiny little detail. Please leave any comments down below of if you have any movies that you liked more than the book. Even if you disagree with me, and explain why. That would be a fun discussion. But yeah, like I said, I just thought this would be a fun video to do, a little bit different. So yeah, please leave any comments down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!